Thanks for tuning in to The Road Home. Professional drivers, independent contractors, we appreciate all you do. Taking our health seriously is very important, especially the stress of being on the road and away from family. I'm excited to start a new monthly segment with one of our previous guests, Nick Kuhle, who is a holistic lifestyle and corrective exercise coach. Welcome back, Nick.
Hey, John. Thanks for having me back.
Man, we were just talking, even for me, well, for most Americans, sleep is so important. And I practiced actually some of the techniques that you talk about, and then we'll talk about here on this segment, to get in a better sleep state, to get rid of the distractions, some of the blue light, the TV, the cell phones. It's so important to kind of just break away from all the technology, especially if you're on the road. I mean, noise and being at a truck stop and dispatch and technology inside the truck. So on this month's podcast, we do want to focus on sleep. It's nature's way of healing and a healthy body as part of the TSA's Live Healthy Driver Health Campaign, which I know you just kicked off recently. So why don't you go ahead and start off and talk a little bit about the Live Healthy Driver Health Campaign that you're a part of here at TSA.
Absolutely. So essentially what we're doing is we're trying to have a focus for each month, John. So we're going back to some of the basic stuff, some of the principles that it almost seems counterintuitive. Like, why am I putting so much emphasis on this? Like this can't be what health is built upon. In all regards, it is. So we're talking about nutrition. We're talking about foods that potentially are going to be inflammatory on the body, things to avoid when you're in a truck stop and you're in a crunch, how to optimize your sleep. We're going to go into breathing and just all the effects that can happen, that can come from the consequences, whether positive or negative, and just how to live healthy.
Apple, we talk a lot about technology here on the show, and I'm, love technology, Nick, and I've got an Apple Watch, an Apple phone, and that Apple Watch, I didn't wear it today because it's kind of distracting at times, but it reminds me to breathe a couple times a day, to talk about, breaths, more like getting your head right and meditation. And really, I think it's about a minute just to get away from the stress and rigors of everyday life, which I know Apple, one of their big initiatives is health and wellness.
And that's funny you say that, because I've used that with some of my clients before. Well, I'll have them, it's one of the techniques I do to help teach proper breathing is they take a piece of string, like a kite string, wrap it around their belly button. Every hour when the timer goes off on their phone, I ask them to take 5 to 10 deep diaphragmatic breaths. And it calms them down. I don't know, like, it doesn't benefit me much, but from the results that I have from my clients, it's just unreal. They're like, Nick, I'm so stressed out. And when I start getting stressed out or on the hour, I just start breathing into the string and naturally the stress just goes away. And that's one thing that we just get caught up in breathing in our chest all day, being chest breathers. It's not good for health. It just excites the body, it amps up the heart rate, and stresses the body.
Yeah, that's so true. And I know for me, Nick, when I do that 1 minute of breathing, I come back just a renewed sense of really the mind. I mean, it just helps so many areas of my life. So I can be a testament to that. But this focus, we just want to spend a few minutes today. Those drivers that are going down the road or maybe hunkered down for the night or maybe even on vacation that are tuning in, sleep, whether you're on vacation, on the road, can really start to impact everything else you do in a healthy lifestyle. So let's focus today's session on sleep. How's that sound, Nick?
Absolutely.
As far as sleep and getting a full, 7, 8, 9 hours sleep, that's hard to do on the road. So what are some of the basics to help improve sleep?
Some of the times within your life, you're just going to have things that come up that you can't get around. Like, so if you're driving and it's taking you to midnight, can't do anything about that. But one of the things I highly recommend is prioritizing sleep first. So instead of setting your day up and you need to get these tasks done before you go to bed, I would set it up as I'm going to bed at this time. Whatever I can get done prior to that, awesome. But I am going to stick to my bedtime and I'm going to train my body to go to bed at night And I'm going to throw this in there. If you guys can get to bed and get your head on the pillow by 10:30, that's going to be optimal for health and longevity. And then on the other aspect, if you can start waking up at 6:30, that's going to be great for you. It just goes with, we've evolved in cycles. So the sun comes up, the sun drops. We have hormone levels that rise and drop with the sun and the moon coming out. So the more we can get our bodies in tune with that cycle, go to bed at right around 10:30, wake up around 6:30, that's going to give you a solid 8 hours of sleep, which we need.
I know, Nick, for me, if I don't have a good night's sleep, like the other day, I was literally up at 2 a.m., I think, and reading some of your tips, preparing for this podcast interview, caffeine. I am guilty of drinking way too much caffeine past noon. I know that's something you're going to touch on here in a minute, but the reason I bring that up is the effects of a single night of poor sleep. I know for me, if I don't get a good night's sleep, say on a Tuesday night, it might be 2 days before I fully recover from that.
It's crazy. It's weird how long one night of sleep impacts the body. But just on like an individual level, when you do get less than, I think it's 6.5 hours of sleep, you're automatically pre-diabetic the next day, which just means you're more likely to go for sugary foods. You're going to be more insulin resistant. What happens is your hormone levels are going to change as well. Ghrelin, which is a hormone that associate with hunger, that's going to increase. So you're going to be more hungry the next day. And typically you go for those sugary, non-healthy processed foods. And then your leptin level, which is a hormone that is associated with satiation, is generally dropped. So you're not as satiated. So you're always going to be eating more. You're going to be generally going for sugar, higher carb foods that aren't beneficial to your health. They're just quick grabs that you can get.
Nick, guilty as charged, man. What are some of the hacks that we can all do to improve sleep, especially on the road? You know, if you're in the back of a sleeper berth in a tractor, and these tractors, by the way, I don't know if you've been in one lately. The newer models are very, very nice, you know, air conditioned comfort. But what are some of the hacks, whether you're on the road or at home or in a hotel room, to get a better night's sleep?
Absolutely. So the first one, get that room pitch black. Get it as dark as possible. If you cannot see your hand in front of your face, you're doing a great job at it. Blackout curtains are one of the best things I put into my room. That's, I would say, number one. You don't want any light showing. You don't want light on your skin. They've done studies where like a single laser point on the foot triggers people to wake up. Number two, drop the temperature in your room. If you can get it around 65, 66 degrees Fahrenheit in whatever environment that you're sleeping in, you're going to sleep so much better. And it's funny because I've done this. I lived with my sister for a while, and she was always like sleeping at 72 degrees Fahrenheit. And I'm like, drop it. And she's like, no, that's stupid. And then over the course of a week, she's like, oh my God, I'm sleeping so much better. And I've done this with a ton of my clients. Get that temperature down and you will sleep a lot better. A couple other ones. Unplug electronics. Get away from this blue light, this artificial light from computer screens, tablets, TVs, cell phones, things of that nature. All that does is it stimulates the body. The retina will catch the blue light. It's stress on the body, so it excites it. It wakes it up. And that's the last thing you want before you go into bed. So, John, to throw in a couple tips for if anyone has cell phones, almost every single cell phone has a night mode where it darkens the screen. Turn the night mode on. I know, you can do it on Apples. You can do it on Androids. You should be able to do it on any of the other ones, Google's, I'm sure. If you have a computer and you're a computer worker, there's an app. Go to the website. It's justgetflux.com. If you want to put that in the show notes, you download it on your computer. And it just naturally, as the day goes on, it will start darkening your screen or making it warmer, I think is the correct term, where it gets like an orangish glow to it.
Yeah, that's a great tip, Nick, and we'll definitely put a lot of good information in the show notes. A reminder, click on the show, dig into the show notes because we'll put in some hyperlinks and some tips that'll help you get a better night's sleep. Well, Nick, I did that myself last night. Here we are in an election year. We got a lot of new stuff going on, coronavirus. I came real close to turning the TV on about 10:30 and watching some news, and that would have totally been against your suggestions, and I'm glad I didn't. And honestly, I feel pretty good today. I think I slept better than I have been because I just followed some of your tips and didn't turn on the TV, kept the cell phone away from me. I'm guilty as well as looking at news and information and checking on friends and family on my smartphone. And man, I've got to get disciplined on just turning that thing over at night, plugging it in, and just getting up the next morning and not staying on it till midnight, 12:30, like I've done some in the past.
Absolutely. And just to go off and give you a couple recommendations too, I know a lot of people that I work with, they get stressed out, so they're on their phones trying to do work at night. One of the easiest things that you can do is when we prioritize sleep first, put the phone down, have a piece of paper, and just write down any to-dos that you need to do the next day. So you're not constantly thinking about it at night. It's not in your subconscious playing like, am I going to forget this when I wake up? You know you're not. It's already written down. It just eases some of the stress, because stress is another huge impactor on sleep as well. So just to throw that little tidbit your way too.
And Nick, in wrapping up, what are some of the main stressors that disrupt sleep that people can really just try to eliminate from their lifestyle?
Yeah, I'll jump in. There's two of them that jump out at me that are the most common. And the first one's going to be caffeine. Caffeine is an excitatory. It revs the body up. It gets you going, gives you energy. And we know we don't want that when we're going to bed. So if you can limit your caffeine, that's going to be number one. Two, just to add on to that, caffeine has a half-life of 6 hours, give or take, depending on the individual and their body and their physiology. But so that means if you have 300 milligrams of caffeine at noon, at 6 p.m. at night, you're still going to have 150 milligrams of caffeine in your body. So I know there's a lot of people that are drinking coffee with their supper or at night. That is detrimental to your overall sleep ability, which is going to roll over into your health for the next day as well. So limit caffeine. I would say if you can cut it off at noon, awesome. And then when you get like a little lull in the day, have some water and hydrate. Most people are dehydrated anyways. And then number two, or the second part of this, that's another stressor, John, would be alcohol and sugar. Both stimulants, both excitatory on the body as well, and can very easily disrupt sleep. As much as I like a glass of wine or a beer here and there, I can tell the difference between a night with beer or wine compared to a night without it. I wake up unrested. I don't get the deep sleep. I don't get the REM sleep, and then my entire day is impacted.
Well, Nick, if you have, I know you do some online coaching and some things, but if you have a program that we can get plugged into, myself included, wherever you might be, all over the country, and start a health and wellness program that you can personally help our members, can you tell us a little bit more about that? And we can put it in the link to the show notes as well.
That's awesome. Yeah, John. So what I have going on is I do my one-on-one coachings, but then right now I have this 12-week group holistic wellness program going on. So we're going to start our next one July 27th, and it runs for 12 weeks in a row. We do an hour coaching call all together on Zoom. We have homework each week that covers different topics, and we start on the foundational levels and we build up. So we start with nutrition, we go over stress, hydration, breathing, all of that health is built upon. And then you have a coach that works with you. You're in a group environment, so it makes it a little bit easier for people to have some direction and sticking with it, and that accountability piece.
Man, that sounds awesome, especially for our members that are on the road. They can connect, from a Wi-Fi hotspot or from their home or wherever they might be. And the key I found when I've had success in the past, Nick, is the accountability, being on that call each and every week and being accountable to not only yourself, but to the other members in that group. That'd be a lot of fun.
It would be. That'd be awesome. So, yeah, if anyone wants to join, we can put the link in the show notes, and feel free. The more the merrier. I'd like to make people as happy and healthy as possible.
Well, Nick, I look forward to getting started in that program with you, and it'd be awesome to have quite a few other TSA members join in with us. So that'd be fun to take that journey along with them, man. Hey, thanks so much. I look forward to talking to you again next month for some more health and wellness and that Live Healthy Driver Health campaign, man. Have a great day.
You too, John.
On this segment of The Road Home, I am joined by another guest I've had the pleasure of having on before to talk a little travel, lifestyle. We all want to figure out ways to get off the road and take, 4, 5, 6, sometimes 16 days, vacation, get away from the truck. And there's no one that's better prepared to talk about what's going on in today's travel, whether it's in the U.S. or abroad, than Naveen Jeff. Welcome back.
Hi, John. How are you? Thank you for having me over again.
Yeah, it's awesome. And I know we're connected, in our personal lives. I noticed you just got back from a trip in Nags Head, North Carolina. Your mother celebrated, a milestone birthday, her 80th birthday. And boy, she does not look 80, by the way. She looks much younger. But you were telling me as we were preparing for this interview that, things are alive and well on the beaches here in the U.S. for sure, especially over in the Outer Banks of North Carolina.
It was actually. It was very nice, very relaxing, and unlike the other states, they have mandatory masks indoor and outdoor if there is no social distance. Everybody seems to be following that rule. It was not a big deal. Beaches were not overpacked. It was very nice. Restaurants were perfectly with the guidelines. It made everybody comfortable. Waiters and waitresses were with masks, guests as well. Outdoor seating was more than indoor. So it was really good.
Before we segue down into Florida, this stick with the Outer Banks of North Carolina a little bit, because there's a lot of our members that are based either in the Northeast or the Southeast. Pretty easy drive to the Outer Banks of North Carolina. So why don't you talk a little bit about some of the things to see and do in that part of the Carolinas and in that part of the U.S.?
Well, it was a very easy drive from Virginia Beach. It was about 2 hours. We got there. We rented a house right by the ocean. It's really nice when you also go four-wheeling, go to Corova and do four-wheeling, see the wild horses on the beach. It was very different, very relaxing. As a matter of fact, I found out that in Forbes magazine, they rated the Outer Banks as #1 destination in the U.S. They were completely sold out. It's definitely a place to go, enjoy, relax. We loved it, and it was sold out. We even wanted to extend. We couldn't extend it.
Yeah, we were talking. I've noticed some friends of mine are down actually near Destin, Florida right now as we speak, and it's good to see people getting out and being safe. I think that's a key thing for all our members, to be safe whatever you do, whether you're at work or on vacation. And it's awesome to see people getting out and that the economy is really starting to come back. And, one thing you mentioned too, that was shouldn't be surprising to our listeners, but you mentioned there's some Caribbean destinations that have opened back up and travel as well. I know we talked a little bit about that on a previous show, but why don't you talk a little bit about, as we record on July the 1st, at least for now, some of the international destinations that have opened up as well.
They have. I'm a sandals specialist, and I know that sandals in Jamaica, they have few sandals. They have different openings for different resorts, but few in Montego Bay have opened up. Antigua is open. Costa Rica, few resorts are open. Mexico, few resorts are open. Now, before you head to the islands, make sure you check with either your travel agent or with the travel.gov. Make sure what the rules are to get to the island. Certain islands require the test, 72 hours negative COVID test before you get there. Some islands actually ask for you to pay for the test when you arrive, and it's $100. just to make sure that you're safe. And it kind of makes you feel comfortable that you're around people that are healthy. So your vacation actually starts from the minute you hit the island.
Well, Naveen, that's some great information. That's why we love to bring on travel experts here on the road home. And that is dynamic. I mean, that can change week to week, really day by day. So make sure if you are going to be traveling outside the country that you do check those websites. We'll put those in the show notes as well. And make sure you're prepared for your dream vacation because, man, people are having them right now, Naveen. It's great to see people get out and really enjoy life again.
Yeah, it's great. Now, Europe, you cannot go to Europe these days. The EU had just put a travel ban from the States going there. So your destinations to travel would be in the United States or the Caribbean. Just make sure you check what's available before you head out. I would highly recommend doing insurance. With everything that's going on, some people say, oh, I don't need insurance. I'm good to go. I'm going to travel no matter what. Well, that rule has gone out the window with the COVID. So make sure you have travel insurance, protect yourself, protect your money, always have a plan B, and definitely don't do it on your own. Ask an expert.
That's a good point, Naveen. And I've traveled quite a bit in my career, and I normally don't purchase insurance. So for listeners, and I think probably historically the majority of travelers that just take maybe one vacation a year, you know, for you professional travelers, obviously you probably purchase the insurance all the time. But can you delve a little deeper into what all the insurance covers when you purchase that insurance on your travel package?
Absolutely. So if you do a package with air and cruise or air and resort, there are insurances called cancel for any reason insurance, and they're not that expensive at all, which means that you would get all your money back no matter what the insurance cover, the cancellation reason is, minus the insurance cost. And that protected a whole bunch of my clients when the COVID hit. So it's always good to have. There's also future travel insurance. That means whatever you purchase, that money is saved for a future vacation. But regardless, you need to look into options and make sure you're covered because you don't want to be, stranded and lose money when you really need it and not have a vacation.
Naveen, some great updates right there. Very timely information. This end our segment on a great family-friendly destination, or if it's just two adults or a couple adults, a lot of fun things to do, and it gives you a Caribbean feel. But let's talk a little bit about Destin, Florida. Again, for a lot of folks that live in the Southeast, pretty easy drive. I know a lot of folks that live in Texas will drive. But there's a couple airports as well that are fairly simple to get to. So if you could talk a little bit about Destin, Florida.
So I've been to Destin, Florida many times. It's beautiful water. It's almost Caribbean style water. It's very, very family friendly city. There's so much to do. You can go and do putt-putt golf. You can go and can actually rent a pontoon for only $200 for like good 5-6 hours. And you go to Crab Island. They have pizza boats, ice cream boats in the ocean, and you just relax. It's shallow. You can take your drink, hang in the water, meet some friends, a whole bunch of pontoons there. It's really a lot of fun. Lots of restaurants, family activities. So it's very relaxing, very beautiful waters too. So I would highly recommend going to Destin.
Yeah, a lot of outdoor activities, like you mentioned. There's plenty of golf courses, water sports, bike trails. I know the times that my family's been down there, we've gone to the Santa Rosa Beach area, which is right outside of Destin, Sandestin. We've either rented like a condominium style property at a hotel where we have our full kitchen, or we've rented a house. Once we go to the grocery, a lot of times we never have to get in the car. We have bikes, especially in Destin, you can ride bikes virtually everywhere. You can walk to restaurants. It's just a great family-friendly atmosphere.
It really is. It's it doesn't make you feel like you're in a hotel and you need to check out. It just feels like home away from home. So I I enjoyed it. We enjoy going there. But I have to say, between that and Hilton Head, those were my favorite 2 destinations so far. There are a lot of other destinations in the United States that we can touch base on next time. But so far, I'm loving Destin and loving the Outer Banks.
Yeah, we definitely want to maybe have a full segment on Hilton Head Island, South Carolina. Ironically, I lived there 2 summers in college, so I'll have a little bit of insight to talk about there. Well, Naveen, in wrapping up, what are some of the airports if someone wants to book a trip and maybe they live in Utah or they live in I doubt if they live in California they want to go all the way to Destin, Florida, but you never know. What are some of the airports if they want to fly into the Destin area?
Fort Walton Airport.
Okay, fine.
Yes.
That is some great information. Naveen Jeff from the Concierge Travel Company, thank you so much for joining us again on the road home. Thank you so much.
Oh, my pleasure. And reach out anytime. I love talking about travel. It's my passion. So I'll be more than happy to ask away, and I'll answer all the questions you have.
Awesome. Thank you so much.